Have we ever stopped and wondered, why did Sam Colton disappear? How did Rebecca get into the tape? And why is the world of Amanda the Adventurer have these objects with eyes? For a while now, all of these objects that is in Amanda the Adventurer doesn't make sense. At first look, it seems like your typical cartoon show with the typical cartoon setting. You know, the objects having eyes to make it more appealing to kids. But then you made a mistake, and Amanda shows a different side to her. Almost as if she's aware of her surrounding. A few months ago, I talked about the possibility of the eyes being once human that had their soul transferred into the animated show. Turns out I was right on track, but I still could not connect the dots. There are some missing parts that I didn't have answers to. But when the full game is released, we learned that the cartoon show Amanda the Adventurer was created by a company called Hameln, who is responsible for a lot of stuff. And suddenly, it all makes sense. So in this video, let's talk about the Hameln Company and the demonic practice happening behind the company's wall. I want to start this video by reading you all the short description of Pied Piper. Pied Piper is a man who came to the town of Hameln to help them get rid of the rat infestation. When he managed to kill all of the rats, the town folks refused to pay him. Enraged, he swears to come back to get revenge, and on the St. John and Paul's Day, he returned dressed in a green-colored outfit and plays a flute. This sweet sound attracted 130 children who follow him out of town and was never seen again. The reason I'm starting with the Pied Piper story is because if it wasn't obvious enough, the Hameln Company borrowed the name, but it's not just the name that is similar. Almost everything that Hameln did is exactly the same as Pied Piper. A letter by Joanne Cook detailed how her little brother disappeared soon after watching the show Amanda the Adventurer. Someone snatched her brother away. The police concluded that it was a kidnapping done by some randoms, but if we go by the Pied Piper theory, it's exactly similar to the events in the legends of Pied Piper. A man came and lured the children away and never to be seen again. Similar thing happens in one of the tape where a girl named Lauren disappeared without a trace. The parents found out about this only after seeing the door to their house open, but before that, she was watching Amanda the Adventurer. Now, the interesting part of both of these disappearances is that both are watching the same show and both were in a trance-like state. As it was seen in the tapes, the girl Lauren didn't react when she was called by her mother, and Joanne's little brother would stand in front of the TV when the show came up. With all of these similarities, I can positively say that Lauren was also kidnapped using the same method as Joanne's brother. But what does the children disappearing have anything to do with Hameln, and what was the reason for that? Well, this is where we circle back to the videos I made months ago. I theorized that the eyes we've seen throughout the tapes is none other than the children themselves. Remember that as soon as the show went live, children started disappearing, and assuming that their symptoms are similar to Lauren and Joanne's brother, we can safely say that they also end up like that. And if you're still not convinced, then one of the secret ending had you literally turned into one of the meats with eyes. Now we know why Amanda wanna puke when the screen glitches and showed us the meat man instead. But all of this are not enough to point at Hameln for being the cause of all of this. But what if I tell you that there's already proof of that, and it's been staring at us the whole time? The key to all of this is Aunt Kate's investigation. We don't know what her other jobs are, but considering that Joanne went to her for this kind of stuff, we can assume that she is well known and in line with the paranormal and occultic stuff. Looking at the board, we can see that Kate have been investigating a certain building, but quoting that it's too risky for her. In one of the secret tapes we found, we get to see someone going into a building and started recording. This might be wrong, which I hope it's not, but could that person be Kate? If it's Kate, then she might have just recorded a very crucial information. You see, while Rebecca was in the studio recording, she mentioned 3 weird names that didn't make sense to me at first. But thanks to many of you who had mentioned that she's saying the demon's name, it's clear to me who the names that she pronounced. The first one that Rebecca mentioned was Baal, a name for Baal. Baal is one of the 4 crown prince of hell and was said to appear in the form of either a cat, toad, or man, and sometimes appear as a combination of all of that, but with a spider legs. He was once worshipped by the ancient Canaan and was said to govern the death and rebirth cycle. The disturbing thing here is that he was worshipped by sacrificing children. The second we heard was Paiman, which was a name for Paimon. Paimon is the 9th spirit and the king of hell that is most obedient to Lucifer. He is depicted as a man with a womanly face, wearing a precious crown and rides a camel. Paimon teaches all arts, philosophies, and science. The last one was Balaam, which is a name for Balaam, a demon with 3 heads, a bull, a man, and a sheep, or a goat. Why was Rebecca reciting the names of the demons? And why does Hamlin give those demons names specifically? Okay, at this point, I might be overthinking this, but humor me on this theory. What if the demon's name that Rebecca mentioned was not random at all, but had a purpose? You see, the first demon, Bile, was said to appear in either a cat, toad, or a man, and sometimes all 3 of that combined with a spider leg for its legs, all of which can be seen appear in the tape, specifically the tape where Amanda went to the zoo. The second demon, Paimon, wears a special crown and teaches art, philosophy, and science. In the attic, there's an article about a missing crown, and doing research on it, I found out that it's an Easter egg for a game called Crown of Stag. Now this is where things supposed to end, but my overthinking mind start to think that maybe the Easter egg was a red herring to make us look away from this article. You see, the crown, while it's cleverly named Crown of Stag, the word stag is stuck in my head, and looking into it further, I found out that it's a name for a deer with a huge antler. Paimon was a demon who was depicted to wear a special crown that has an antler. The last one was Balaam, a demon who had 3 heads, a bull, a man, and a sheep or goat for its head. When you look at this information, suddenly it's not random anymore. All the demons that was mentioned here have purpose which Hamlin could benefit. Summoning Paimon would give them knowledge of science. Why science? Well, in one of Kate's investigations, she found out that Hamlin was conducting energy transfer, or dynakinesis. Something that is not achievable through normal means, but what if a demon who excelled in science knowledge gave them said knowledge? This explains the energy transfer, but what does the energy transfer could do? Well, soul is a form of energy, but to get these souls to be transferred, the host needed to die first. This is why Bile was summoned. He governed the death and rebirth cycle, and like I mentioned before, Bile was worshipped through sacrificing children. It's now clear as to where the children goes. With the knowledge gained from the demon Paimon, the scientists started their work, and Rebecca was the first victim to be transferred into the tapes. When they succeeded in transferring Rebecca's soul, they knew they could do it, and this is where children started disappearing. To keep track of Rebecca as Amanda in that world, the demon Balaam was summoned. What was his purpose? Well, this might be a bit of a stretch, but what if Balaam took the form of Wooly? Because if he is the summoned demon, it explains some of the unusual things that happened in the tape. When the credit sequence happened, Wooly's name didn't show up. The screen glitched and it skipped his name, almost as if it doesn't want people to know. Then there's the fact that when we didn't put in the name Wooly in the second In Your Neighborhood tape, instead of the name Wooly, a question mark appeared even if Wooly was the one who's talking.
I don't think it's their birthday. The card is for someone really cute. Gosh, I guess you really forgot.
And the last one that made me suspicious of Wooly was at the end of Everything Rot tape. When Amanda asked if everyone rot, Wooly repeatedly prevent Amanda from knowing. I mean, that could be him trying to protect Amanda from knowing the truth, but from the conversation in that tape, I picked up this hint from Amanda that she knew she was tricked into signing the contract only afterward when she mentioned this.
He's silly. Wouldn't it be nice if he could tell us? It was the ugly old bear trap. Mr. Fox didn't even know what got him until it was too late.
It felt like she was talking about herself being the silly one for falling into a trap, but instead of being sad or shocked like he always does, Wooly instead brushed off her concern. Then at the end, when we didn't answer Amanda, she got angry and Wooly disappeared. The weird thing is that when he disappeared, it sounded like he was frustrated, angry for being removed.
You have to tell me.
And with all of this information at hand, Sam Colton, who had suspicion with the Hameln Company, knows that Kate is the only one who he could trust. But Hamlin figured out both Kate and Sam's plan. Remember that Hamlin summoned the demon Balaam. Balaam had the ability to see through the future, so the company knows both of them will come forward, so before anything could happen, they removed both Kate and Sam. However, one of them might have survived because at the end, a strange figure can be seen. Who is this figure's identity is something that we don't know yet, but if I had to guess, it could be Sam, as the strange person has a male figure. Thank you all so much for watching. The last video did tremendously well, and I want to thank you to everyone that saw that video, liking and even commentating their theories. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the support. As usual, I got more theories and explained video for this game, so if you don't want to miss that out, do subscribe and turn on the bell to not miss the video. My name is Red, and I will see you guys again in the next episode. Peace out.